I've been to Rwanda twice, but I've only been for a total of about 4 or 5 days on 2 separate trips. So I want to welcome our guests into the audience. I'm sorry, our guests into the audience. Our guests into the studios.
Well, we can connect to the audience.
Yeah, we're connected to the audience. I feel like I'm with the audience, and now you're with me with the audience, with you at home or in your car. Or watching us on Facebook Live, 92.73 FM. So we're here with Matthew and Fatia. Nice to meet you two.
Very good to meet you too,
Nice to
Mark.
meet you.
Great. Matthew is one of the community leaders here in Rwanda. I mean, for Rwandans living in Ghana. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, Mark.
Yes.
Very happy to be here with you
Great.
again.
Yeah, great. So, how long have you been living in Rwanda?
In
Ghana. Yeah.
Well, we are living in Ghana, and we are Rwanda in Ghana.
Rwanda in Ghana.
Right? So we are a small community of Rwandans who are here in Ghana. So yes, I've personally been around for the last 3.5 years. So it's been 3.5 years in Ghana.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. What brought you to Ghana?
Work.
Okay.
So I am here with the Rwandan High Commission, the Embassy of Rwanda in Ghana.
Yeah.
So that's where I work.
Okay,
Yes.
nice.
Great.
So even back when you were in Rwanda, that's kind of who you were working with, and then they transferred you here, or you came here and found the job. How did that come about?
No, I came specifically for the job. So I didn't come to find the job here. I came for the job.
Okay.
Yes. So I was brought here to do the job.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did that process start while you were in Rwanda?
Interesting. So I think it's the normal kind of process of the way you get recruited for any job, right? Because it is a job that is for a Rwandan. So it was recruited for a Rwandan, and I happened to be that Rwandan, and I was thrown into the country to do the job. Just like you would be recruited for any other job elsewhere. Yeah.
So, did you have to go do you have to go to interviews? Did they say, the sky opened up and somebody came down and said, we want Matthew, you're recruited?
Oh, that's not how it happens. That's how the stuff happens. I think you really go through the interviews like everybody else. You are vetted, you are selected, you compete for the job, and you get the job, because the kind of Rwanda we live in is a merit-based country. Everything is about merit. It's not so and so knows so and so, so then you have been pulled to a certain job because someone knows you. You get a job because you have competed for the job, and you are the best candidate they found in the pool that they had for the job. So I think that's the process. It doesn't mean I am the best Rwandan for this kind of job, not necessarily. Yeah. But out of the pool that came out for the job, I was selected. And
good. Congratulations.
So there are so many other areas that people really look at. So so it's a merit kind of based really process.
Yeah. One of the things that I really noticed about Rwanda is that it seemed to be like a theme almost everywhere I went. Kind of I don't want to call it fairness, but like you said, merit-based, so I instantly knew what you meant. It was like you can't cut corners, like you said, it's not who you know. You can't cut corners, you can't skip the line. No, we're not going to take a dash, a tip, anything. It's like a badge on people's shoulder of sort of honor. Honor, to be honorable, to be, I don't want to say clean, but last question about how did you find your job? Because you never know from country to country what the differences may be, especially when some countries are accused of being able, if you know the right person, if you dash enough money, you can get any job. Where somewhere the impression that I got in the reputation that Rwanda is developing is that it's one of the least corrupted countries on the continent.
That is very kind of you to say, but we also pick that as a compliment, really, because there's been quite a lot of effort into that. As a Rwandan, not speaking as someone who works for an embassy or anything like that, but just an ordinary Rwandan. One thing I can really tell you is that any Rwandan today will find it very hard to even give anybody a bribe. Forget about you giving me a bribe. Even me giving you a bribe will be really very hard for me. I will not, it doesn't come so easy for me, because that is the kind of culture we have been kind of nurtured into. I feel like if you have a service that you are supposed to render to me, I expect it from you because you are there to give me the service. So if I have to give you something for you to give me the service, I might end up never getting that service because I will struggle to get myself to the place where I give you something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those of you listening at home, my experience in Rwanda, it is that. Like, you know, and I say this respectfully, I'm just speaking from my point of view. It actually came off strange to me. I was like, are these people like aliens? And I just don't know it. Like,
Oh, wow.
like it was kind of like scary to me. Like, if I do this, I will be, you know, I can't even say thank you in a way, you know.
Well, you can say thank
I
you
can say
without
my words.
without giving me money.
Y'all hear it.
Yeah.
My experience was really like that.
Yeah.
My experience was really like that. Thank you.
You can tell me thanks. You can really compliment someone
Yeah.
without necessarily, you know, kind of trying to buy their goodwill in
Yeah.
a way. You know, you don't have
Yeah.
to really pay for anything
Yeah.
unless the service has a cost. You pay for the service. You don't pay for the person to give you the service.
And you know, I think we're talking more on like the professional networking business, the business side of things. I haven't had enough relations with human to human Rwanda interaction community based out there to know if that's how it is in the natural community. But whether it's at the airport, restaurants, traffic stops, you know, general places, the mall. I've been to Chic before. I've been to Pele Pele.
Okay. Pili Pili. Wow.
Pili Pili.
Okay.
That's the best.
Yeah, the food
On
there was
Sundays.
great. Yeah, that was great. Please, let's move to Fatia. Fatia, welcome to our show.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
So you're a Rwandan living in Ghana.
Yes.
I looked at Michael when I said that. Yeah. How long have you been in Ghana?
I've been in Ghana for the last 10 years.
10 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. What brought you to Ghana? Why did you come to
I
Ghana?
got married to a Ghanaian.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's how I came to Ghana.
Did y'all meet in Rwanda?
Yeah, we met in Rwanda.
Wow. Why was he in Rwanda?
He was working in Rwanda.
Doing what, if you don't mind me asking?
He was
What kind of jobs can Ghanaians find in Rwanda?
a lot. He was a
Yeah.
consultant in
consultant.
the National Bank of Rwanda.
Okay, a consultant at the National Bank of Rwanda.
Yes.
If you at home, if you was listening to me 2 weeks ago, I said, even if you don't have money, you can be a consultant. All you need is data to learn on YouTube, and you can be a consultant. He has some people, I'm sure he has some sort of merit-based education. You know, I'm sure
I
there's
see.
something
I
about
see.
that, but you can always be a consultant when all else fails. And I'm sure, you know, to be, you know, for a bank consultant, there's some education behind that.
Yeah.
So you've been living, why did y'all decide to live in Ghana and not Rwanda?
Because he was working in Ghana, so he was coming to Rwanda just for consultants. And
Yeah.
Yeah. But his real job is in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you currently working in Ghana?
If
you don't mind,
have
your
my
business
own
one.
business.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
What kind of business? Please tell us about your business.
I own a fashion house.
Yeah.
It's called Fatia Creations,
Mm.
and I'm also into natural skin and hair products.
Wow.
Yeah.
The skin tells, eh? Her skin tells.
Oh yeah, very beautiful skin. Very beautiful skin. Don't make her husband come and beat me. But very, very beautiful skin. Fatia's fashion house, you said?
Yes.
Um,
Fatia Creations.
Say it again.
Fatia Creations.
Fatia Creation.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
So when I got to Ghana, I was working as an office manager, and it was a project. It was a French company project, and I worked with them for 2 years.
Okay.
And after that, I started my business, my fashion house. I went to school
Yeah.
and started my fashion house. Then I have a shop in Ghana and in Rwanda as well.
Wow.
Then in 2021, that's when I started my natural hair and skin products.
Okay. So your fashion house, what do you sell there?
We sell almost everything, but when I started, I was focusing on African prints, you know, because in Rwanda they were not familiar with African prints. And when I got here, I saw people, you know, how they're dressed in African prints. It was really nice. Then I wanted to introduce that to Rwanda.
Yeah.
So I used to take like few pieces from here
Yeah.
And they will love it and buy it just
Wow.
like this.
They sell well in Rwanda?
Rwanda.
Congratulations. So if I went dressed like this in Rwanda with my top and down, everybody would be like,
Yeah.
okay, nice.
Buy
nice.
them
It's
off
really-
you.
yeah.
But I guess, but then I would get arrested for indecent exposure.
Indecent exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah.
So what do you like better, Rwanda or Ghana as far as living?
As
You've been here
living,
10 years. That's
10
enough time
years.
too. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know. Home is home, you know. But I've been here for the last 10 years. Now this is my second home.
Yeah.
You know, that is where I work. My life is here. Yeah. So I think I love Ghana, but I don't like the heat because I'm used to, you know, the good weather of Rwanda.
I tell
yeah.
people when y'all hear our East African correspondent Boniface, East Africa, especially these countries be cold.
Yeah.
Rwanda was cold and it get misty at night.
They are cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Cold.
They are cool.
These gonna be cold.
Sorry, it's
You
cold.
go there at night. It'd be 100
Especially
degrees.
in the evenings.
Yeah. I'm gonna speak Fahrenheit. I haven't really gotten proficient at Celsius yet. It'd be 100 degrees Fahrenheit at night, and you mess around and be 30, 40 degrees at night
Yeah.
in the same country. And you'll be hot during the day, sweating, and then you'll be freezing at night.
Yeah.
So I want to stay with Fatia for a little bit. What are some of the similarities and differences you've experienced between Rwanda and Ghana? First, I want to ask, what are some of the similarities?
I will say people how they when you meet people, how they, you know, they want to know you, they want to talk to you. Some people or some countries, you go there and you don't feel like you are home. Here it's like you are home. You meet people, you feel like you are home. It's not like you are scared of people or how will they like me, you know?
Yeah.
So here people are so
People are friendly by
friendly.
default.
They're friendly, yeah.
Yeah.
Receptive.
Yeah.
Receptive.
Yeah. By default.
Friendly.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing as in Rwanda.
Yeah.
So that's what I loved the most because I never felt like I'm far away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And I met. We had. When I got here, the community was too small, really small. But now we are big. We have like a big community.
You are growing.
We are
Wow,
almost
wow.
200.
You are growing.
200.
Oh, that's not. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
some size to it.
Yeah.
Wow.
When we started, because I'm the one of the few people who started the Rwanda diaspora in Ghana. We were like 30 people. Yeah, and now we are almost 200 or 200 and more, so it's a good thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. To you, Matthew, what are some of the similarities and differences that you've experienced so far?
Similarities first. No, I feel like you know, being a young person, and well, I still consider myself young.
You are.
Please don't take that.
Are
tag
you
away
18?
from me.
Are you 18?
So you know, President Kagame somewhere around I think 2019. You know, there's this annual forum, the Youth Connect Africa Summit that we normally host in Rwanda every year. 2021 it came to Ghana, but in 2019 I remember a statement he made. He said, "Well, being Rwandan means that I am an African." But from a particular place called Rwanda, but I'm an African, and I love the whole Africanness about Ghana.
Yeah.
When you come to Ghana, I think, well, I've not only lived in Rwanda and Ghana in Africa. I've been in a few places in Africa, but I can
Like
tell
where,
you for
please?
a fact.
Where else?
Well, I lived in Uganda. I worked in Kenya for quite some time, so I know a bit of these different small places here and there. But when I talk about the Africanness, I can feel it very fresh and prime in Ghana, just the way I could feel it in Rwanda.
Yeah.
The whole African feeling, the African touch is quite very strong in both countries. And I feel that gives us a certain uniqueness and a connection. So when I come to Ghana, that's something I really enjoy. The fact that I can still feel African, not Rwandan, not Ghanaian. I just first of all feel like I'm an African. Right now I'm an African in Ghana.
Yeah.
But I will still be an African when I find myself in Rwanda.
Yeah.
I will still be an African. So that for me is really a very big similarity for me.
And let's touch
Difference.
on some of the differences.
The
Yeah.
differences.
Yeah.
Well, I think, just like all people kind of evolve differently, our kind of history as a country and the history in Ghana are kind of a bit different, right? So we come from different kind of backgrounds. And one of the things that brings across is that, for instance, in Rwanda, we currently take unity quite very strongly. Quite very, very strongly. I will hardly have to tell someone that you come from this particular place, you this kind of person. That will not happen in Rwanda. All I see is a Rwanda. Right? Now, here in Ghana, when you tell someone your other name, they can easily tell you, you are Ebeman, eh? You are, Asante man. So I appreciate the diversity. I appreciate that part, but I think that's very different from where I'm coming from. Where I'm coming from is that kind of combined unity, and as long as I'm Ghanaian, that's it. As long as I'm Rwandan, that's it. Yeah.
I think due to history that being Rwanda and able to say that may mean more than just a random place, another country saying that. What steps do you believe the country and the people have taken that made it to where Rwandans don't have as much tribalism from your words now? I want to start from where you've been and how the steps have come to where you are now to say that freely and boldly, so other people may look to it as a example or a beacon.
Wow. Well, I sometimes don't want to use that T word, because that T word has messed up a lot of Africa. I just kind of sometimes say it's just a matter of diversity. Now, for Rwanda, I think, like you've rightly put it, Macrory, we come from quite a very tough history, right? We have had tough times, and one of them is that we found ourselves going to a very dark time, the genocide against the Tutsi in 1994. And one of the back factors for that was the whole, identity tags. You are this, you are that. I am this, you are that. We are these people, you are those people. And I think for me, post the genocide against the Tutsi, what happened is that the government really became very strong in terms of saying, okay, and not just the government, the people themselves, because there was a lot of dialogue. In the late 90s, there was a lot of talk, a lot of conversation. People said, no, this thing has not done us any good. So there's no need for us to kind of maintain it. If something is not doing you good, why do you keep it? Unless it's doing you some value. So the thing is, we said this thing has not done us any good.
Just to be specific, what thing has not done you any good?
The division, the tagging. You are this, I am this. That is the thing that we said, no, this thing has not done us any good. Rather, it has caused us a lot of trouble. So we had better do away with it because it is not any value add. And that's the whole starting point. So we said there are no more tags. To this day, discrimination is not about tribes in Rwanda. Any discrimination is unconstitutional. As soon as you divide Rwandans in any group, you are already unconstitutional. Because the constitution says Rwandans cannot be divided. So that's the whole dynamic for me.
Quick question. I want to go back to what you're saying. I just want to interject for a second. Does that bump heads with people cultural pride for how they were raised, for their tribe or culture?
No, I think diversity does not, or unity does not impinge on diversity, because diversity is not a weakness. Diversity is a strength. But the whole point is, how is the diversity rather empowering you instead of destroying you? That is the whole essence. Diversity is very good. Even God created us diverse. He created us in different colors and different shapes. And that's a very beautiful thing. But how does diversity empower you? And I'm not saying that Ghanaian diversity is toxic or negative, not really.
Because I just want to know.
I've also seen a very beautiful side of it.
Don't worry about that. So it's just more, just to be clear, it's more that once you discriminate, then you violate, but you can still have pride in your tribe.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, I think that's another difference that we can really talk about. While Rwanda could be divided and was divided, Rwandans are essentially the same kind of person.
Yeah.
They're the same people. We don't have tribes really.
Okay.
Like naturally, we don't have natural tribes because we speak the same language. We have the same cultural backgrounds. We marry the same way. The same culture of marriage between one group is the same culture across the whole country.
We'll talk about that in our second half too. Yeah, I want to go back to that.
Naturally, we have no divisions at all. Naturally. Now, what happened during the colonial time? You know, colonialism was about divide and rule.
Yeah.
That was what it was.
Yeah.
So what happened is that in the absence of natural tribes, the colonialists looked for any fault lines within the people. And what they found were the socio-economic stratas within the people, because we had socio-economic classes within the people. And then they aggravated these ones and turned them into ethnic groups. And they started issuing, identity cards alongside these ethnic groups. And that became the source for the whole division.
Matthew, I love putting holes in and colonialism and imperialism and neo-colonialism, the secret one that's challenging us now. But we have to go to commercial in a few minutes. But I think this is a good time to bring up what we discussed during the break earlier. A lot of people attribute the success of Rwanda now to the current president Kagame.
Yes.
To the current president. But some people fear that once his tenure life, when he's no longer president, that will Rwanda be able to continue to progress and maintain this standard years and decades after his transition in the long, God willing, the long term future. What are strategies are in place that whenever that cold day comes, respectfully, how will Rwanda continue to balance itself and continue to move forward in that direction?
I really appreciate that, and I know that it's a fear that very many people really do have. But I would say it's a fear that is not very founded, right? It's not a founded fear. It is a fear that is based on the usual African narrative, right? That there's always doom somewhere waiting for an African country. It's as if an African country can't be stable continuously. Now, President Kagame, as a young person growing up looking at him, one of the things I really appreciate about him is that President Kagame knows that he's not eternal. He's not one of those leaders who think they are going to be around forever. Not really. He says it all the time. He knows he's not going to be there all the time. But what he has done, and what I appreciate and what gives me confidence as a Rwandan, not as any profession or anything, but as a Rwandan, what gives me confidence is that President Kagame has invested in people. Now, he has not invested in one individual to take over from him. No. What has happened in Rwanda is that President Kagame has invested in as many Rwandans as possible. And I am assured as a Rwandan, and I can comfortably give that assurance to anybody, that once President Kagame, when the time for President Kagame to move or to leave office comes, there will not be one Rwandan. There will be a lot of Rwandans from whom to choose. That one I am certain about, because I can see the quality of the people and how we have changed in terms of quality. The quality of the Rwandan today is incomparable to the quality of Rwandan 30 years ago. Incomparable. They are two different worlds. And I believe that if we could be able to find President Kagame out of the few that we had back then, imagine what we can find now. After 30 years of investing in these people, education, exposure, he has been looking for scholarships across the globe. Rwandans have studied in some of the best universities in the last 30 years. Things that they never used to think about back then. Rwandans have really had exposure. They are working in some very big places currently. So I have every kind of confidence, and I can really share that confidence that when time comes, we are not in any rush. But when the time comes, I am assured that we will not have one Rwandan or 10 Rwandans. We'll have a lot of Rwandans from whom we can choose the best leader to take us forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great answer, and it definitely gives us a lot of hope and light. So let's touch on some of the lighter subjects, some of the normal Beats Africa stuff.
The ones we've been waiting for.
The ones you've been waiting for. Quick story. I heard they speak English in Rwanda. I'm thinking I'm going to another English-speaking country. Then the first time I was at a mall that wasn't completed yet, the one with the movie theater, opposite Chic.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I asked for some directions from a security guard. Security guard didn't speak English. Then I went to a store. Store people didn't speak English. Then I went to 2-3 more stores, talked to 2-3 more security guards. Nobody spoke English. So when people ask me now, do they speak English in Rwanda? I say yes and no. Because you do find English speakers, and they are English speakers quite a lot. But it's not like Ghana. It's not like Nigeria. It's not even like Kenya in a way, where it's really easy to find English speakers. So what languages do they really speak in Rwanda?
Fatia, do you want to go on that fast? Anyway.
I think it's not everybody who speaks English. You know, we were just a French country, and we switched to English. How many years now?
That was in 2007.
2007.
Oh wow, that's real recent. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not everybody. Even us, we learned in French, you know, and the first English I spoke was after my secondary school, you know.
And you see,
so it's not everybody who speaks English.
Again, with Rwanda, there's something very different. There's a uniqueness somewhere because everybody in Rwanda speaks one language.
Okay.
Which is Rwanda.
So all Rwandans have a shared language. So they don't have so much motive for another language. That is one thing. Even when we still spoke French as a language of instruction in school, people still really clung to their Kinyarwanda more because, well, everybody understood each other with Kinyarwanda. So they didn't need another foreign language for them to understand each other. It would be different in a place where you have like 30 languages or 40 languages. You need some sort of like common language that people can really bond onto. Now the Rwandans, all of them already have a language they bond on. Now, but over the years, especially I think in the last 20, 30 years, there's been a lot of work to really grow the pool of international languages. So when we talk about Rwanda, we really say in terms of international languages, we are bilingual. We speak both French and we speak English. You have a group of people who really speak a lot of French and very little English, and you have another big group of people who speak a lot of English and very little French. And then you have a growing group of people who speak both languages very comfortably. So if you walk on a street and you land on a security guard, the highest chances are they will speak in Rwanda to you. Because really their job doesn't require them to do a lot of English speaking. But now that they are starting to receive a lot of visitors, starting to deal with a lot of foreign incomers, right? So you have a lot of people doing motor taxi but starting to speak a lot of English, who really now kind of do very well with the language. So people are starting to really
Are there normal
language.
taxis in Rwanda? I don't think I've always rode motor taxis in Rwanda.
Because they are too nice.
Yeah.
Right?
And
The motor taxis are really nice.
They are faster.
Yeah.
And they're affordable.
Yeah.
But you have normal taxis. You have normal taxis,
You do, okay.
and you have the equivalents of the likes of Uber and
Uber
Bolt.
and Bolt,
You have what we call Move, and you have Yego cabs. So all these are really active in the country, and so and then of course you also have the usual kind of taxis, the ones
Like the
here that you
minibus.
stop. No, even the ones you
The
stop
ones
and you
they-
negotiate the
I
price.
use Safe Motors. That's
Use
the app
Safe
that I
Motors.
use. The app the green one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You get a nice ride, very clean,
Yeah.
beautiful helmet. You're alone on the
I call Rwanda the land of bikes. Like you don't even really see cars in Rwanda. Of course you see them, but it's really like a biker's dream.
Yeah, it
a
is.
biker club's dream.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Is Boniface ready? We can go to Boniface now? Not yet? Okay, yeah. So Key Rwanda. What does key mean? Because I heard of key Swahili, key Rwanda. Is key a word or why is it? I don't know.
Interesting.
The Kinyarwanda and
So I think then you're taking us into grammar. Really.
Go ahead. Yeah. This is Beats Africa.
I know. So chi, we don't actually say ki.
Key.
We say chi.
Chi.
Yes. Just
Okay.
the way you wouldn't say Kigali. That's not the way we call Kigali.
Oh,
We
okay.
say Chigari. Yes.
Chigari.
Yes, Chigari.
Chigari.
Yes.
Okay.
Now Chigari or Chinyarwanda or Chinyarwanda. What we are really saying, chi is something.
Okay.
It is symbolic of something.
something else.
So it is something that belongs to Rwandans, Chinyarwanda, something that is from Rwanda, that is
Okay.
for Rwandans. Now, the same way we would say Chigari, for instance, when I say Chigari, I am saying something that is big.
Chigali.
Yeah. In Kinyarwanda, Chigari is something that is large.
Okay.
You see? So Chinyarwanda is something that belongs to Rwandans.
Okay.
So
what's Chi Swahili?
now Kiswahili again is just the same kind of line of language, because we all come from the same kind of group of languages. Kiswahili, when you talk about Kiswahili, is something that belongs to the Swahili people. It's a language for the Swahili people.
So we just finished the language conversation, which I think is great. Now I know it's Chiwanda, or Chiwanda. Chiwanganda.
Chinyarwanda.
Chiyawanda.
Okay. That's better.
Adventures with Nana Rashad in languages. That we should call that a segment on Beats Africa. Fatia, we brought up briefly marriage rituals or ceremonies in Rwanda. Did you have a Ghanaian wedding or a Rwandan wedding, or both?
Oh no, I had the Rwandan wedding.
Rwanda wedding.
Yes.
What is start us from the how does a man or propose to a woman in Rwanda? What is the dating process like? Once he realized that he likes a woman, does he have to meet her parent? Like, what does that normal process go?
I think it's the same thing in almost all the African countries. Yeah. So yeah, once you meet someone, they have to meet your parents, of course. Then they also do, when it's time to decide that you want to get married, they do what you call knocking. So we do the same as well in Rwanda. Then after the knocking, you go through the introduction. That's the traditional wedding.
Yeah. For the knocking, what is the normal? You don't have to say yours, but like, what is the normal bridal fee or the list? What is normally on a Rwandan list?
We don't have the list like in Ghana.
Okay.
No, we don't give a list.
So what is a knocking?
The man's family, they decide what to bring to the lady's family. So they have to decide. We don't give like a list. Yeah.
What are some of the things that some men bring in Rwanda?
The same drinks, gifts. Yeah. That is. I think most of the time it's just drinks.
Yeah, well, there are a few symbolic things that used to happen back in the years.
Yeah.
For instance, when people would come and they come along with a hoe, they will come with maybe a jerrycan for those who have cattle, like to symbolize bringing water, the watering kind of thing, for you to be able to water your animals. There were some few symbolic things,
but most of the time it's just drinks.
Now really just I think it's not too firm as it used to be, because the culture also grows like everything else. It evolves. And
okay, wow.
Yeah. So you go through introduction wedding, then the white wedding.
What's the introduction wedding?
It's I think it's the same as here. The families meet and they discuss. Say this is our. So they go to the lady's family, the guy's family, his friends, his family. Then they talk. The adults, like the parents, uncles, aunties, they talk and they say, okay, we are here to ask for your girl's hand in marriage. It's the normal talking. But in Rwanda, I think it takes forever. They have a lot of talking.
The conversation is long.
How long? How many days, weeks, months?
No. It's a 1 day thing.
Okay.
But compared to Ghana, it takes forever.
It's
like
more of the conversation.
Yeah. Here it's really fast. They're like, okay, we want this. Okay, you can. We are okay with that. We agree, but in Rwanda they go through corners and say, so it takes some time.
I feel like in the dating world, men don't ask women enough questions. So I actually think it's good if they really speak all day.
From a cultural perspective, we used to have a reason.
Yeah.
The reason really back in the days was that the more they interrogate this incoming family of the groom, they get to know them better. They get to know them better before they give them their girl to take in marriage. Because once they give them the girl has become part of their family. So they would interrogate them through these questions. Some of them very tricky. So they would trick you into giving.
Give us an example of a tricky question you've heard of.
No, I mean, like someone will actually say, will ask you something like, what do you do? Where do you work? You don't know what they have in mind for asking you that question. And then you tell them, I work in place ABCD. Say I work in a hospital, they will say, I remember you very well. You're the doctor who was attending to our patients when they died. You didn't even care at all. And they will push you to kind of show your emotions. And then they'll be picking from that.
Like he has a temper.
Yeah. So
it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. So is the white wedding pretty much basically means European wedding in Rwanda? Like if you say a white wedding, I'm thinking paperwork. I'm thinking white clothes.
Like court. They go to court.
Is there a respect? Is the white wedding more respected than the traditional wedding, or is if somebody who doesn't really have the finances and they just have a traditional wedding, is it seen as a still? I don't want to say spiritually binding. I don't want to say legally.
Yes.
But.
I actually think in Rwanda the most important one right now is the civil one.
The civil one, that's the court.
As soon as as long as you have gone to the law, you have, because they will actually make your vows. They will take you through the understanding of what it means to get married legally, and then there will be someone representing the law to take you through your vows. You say your vows to each other, and they will pronounce you husband and wife, and they'll give you a certificate. Whether you do the other things or not is depending on you. But this establishes you as a married couple. And that's it. That is the most important one right now.
This is my Black American mind thinking. Is the wedding a trap for men in Rwanda? There's a continued belief that men shouldn't get married in the United States just because there's so many. If you get divorced, women could take half your money, even if she's in the wrong. When you kind of get married as a man, legally married as a man in America, you actually lose more rights than you gain. In Rwanda, do men fear white weddings versus traditional weddings for any legal purposes or anything of that nature?
Our law does not recognize any other marriage except the civil marriage. So if you have not gotten married legally, you are not yet married. So when you do a traditional wedding, for instance, I know that, for instance, in Ghana, the law, you can actually have a cultural wedding, a traditional wedding, and that will be recognized legally. You can also go to church and it will be recognized legally. In Rwanda, yes, we will know that you're married, but the law does not recognize you until you enter into a marriage covenant legally.
Are there benefits to being married legally?
Yeah. I think, look, Macroni, the thing is... No, I feel like marriage is sometimes misrepresented in a way, right? I think sometimes people really kind of rush into the decision. That's one thing. And then when you get down the road, you say, I think I got the wrong person, and you want to dump them. And that's not going to happen because you entered the decision. And probably maybe you've been with this person and you've built a life together and you can't just dump them all of a sudden. That's one thing. The second thing I actually feel about marriage is that we have become less patient. We have become less patient. Nothing works out from the beginning. Sometimes you need to be more patient to build the process. Now, if it is easy for you to jump out anytime you want to jump out, then you are not even given a benefit of doubt to really work on the journey.
We're short on time, but I do want to ask, what is the benefits of getting of a legal marriage? Of like, is there any the paperwork? Are there any benefits to the paperwork? That's just that's just my general question.
Maybe just one benefit that I would give to you is that when you get married legally, then you can legally back each other up. Even in terms of, for instance, if I got married to my wife and I didn't do the legal thing, that means even if I had insurance over me, she would not benefit and neither would my kids benefit. So it is something that really kind of accords you that legal protection.